Welcome to the Timescales Interviews. I'm Grego, your host, and today I have a very special guest. This right here is the actor, comedian, radio presenter, writer, and the host of the new WhoTube show on YouTube, focusing on Doctor Who. Right here is none other than Phil Woods. Hi, Phil.
Hi. I've never been described none other than before, but there you go.
All right. So, you're in England, right?
I am, yes. No, well, strictly no, I'm in Wales.
You're in Wales. Okay. Okay. Well, what's
People,
it look?
they'd want me to say that because, it's like they're so protective. I'm English, though.
Right, right. You know what's funny about that is I had met someone many years ago that was from Wales, and I kind of ignorantly kept saying, "Yeah, I have a friend that lives in London," and he would go, "No, no, 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 I'm from Wales." And I go, "Yeah, yeah, I have a friend that lives in London." So I guess he kind of looked at me as being a little bit ignorant there. So, um, listen, I want to talk to you about Doctor Who today, and any day that you can talk to another Doctor Who fan is a great day. And you have a new program on YouTube, which is the fastest growing Doctor Who channel that I have ever seen. Absolutely unbelievable. Over 10,000 subscribers. You interviewed me last week, and that interview has gotten quite a few views. Um, so before we get to Doctor Who, let me ask you a little bit about yourself that is not related to Doctor Who. That way people can just get a little bit of a feel and get to know you. Do you have any interests or hobbies aside from entertainment, skydiving, stamp collecting, anything like that?
No, I suffer from far too many disabilities for stamp collecting. But Sky, no, I don't really. I have a hobby, and that hobby is writing, and that
Mhm.
sounds sad. But then, if you can do something that you enjoy in life on a continuous basis, and it's that means any work I've ever done, or not ever done, but most work I've enjoyed, apart from being a salesperson, which I didn't enjoy at all.
So you enjoy writing. Would you say that you love writing?
Yeah, I love writing.
You love
Uh,
writing? Okay. Now, I stumbled across something but before we met today, where you have been an actor in a British sitcom called Morbid, and I watched a couple of clips of that. In fact, I watched your reel on your Facebook page. Um, wh- what what led up to you becoming an actor on television?
to be honest, an accident. My friend was well, he's a filmmaker, and he was doing. I don't know whether you have it over there, but he was doing a skit of a show called Most Haunted.
Mhm.
Basically, a bunch of people investigating the paranormal, and he did a skit of it called Scariest Places, and I ended up playing a barman at a pub that was haunted, and things led from there. Really, I haven't done loads of acting. Um, I've done bits and pieces, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy that. It's a laugh actually. I mean, there's a lot of waiting around, but it's enjoyable.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, when I was watching you act, you seemed like you were really enjoying it. Um,
Oh,
so now you have a film that you have produced called Genesis Project Reset. What's that about?
that's something I wrote in lockdown because I thought, what can I do to save myself being so bored? So during lockdown, I wrote this piece called Genesis Project Reset. Um, I thought, well, what would happen if one day, you know how the streets were all empty, but what if you woke up one day and everybody had disappeared? And what might the reasons be behind everybody disappearing? And then I looked at uh, my own faith, which is Christianity, and I thought, well, what if God decided that He hated what we had done to the planet, and therefore He wanted to reset it and go right back to the beginning again and have another go, if you like. What might that look like? And that's what I created was Genesis Project Reset, and it's a bit, I suppose, it's a bit spooky in some parts,
That it is.
but it was meant to be, exact. It was meant to be to explore mental health as much as anything, especially the mental health surrounding lockdown
Right.
and being alone, and how much. I mean, it was already bad through lockdown, but how much worse would it be if you lived alone and there was absolutely nobody to speak to, and what would life be like then? And it kind of explored that as well. So I, I guess I wrote it initially just to be a piece about being alone, and then it graduated as I added more and more into it, and then it became what it is. Unfortunately, the production company or the people behind editing it and what have you, for some reason it got taken off YouTube, so I put it back up myself. But it's hardly had any views. But I've not done any publicity around it or anything. I just put it there for my own, just if ever I wanted to show anybody. So there's no idea about trying to make it into a big film or anything. I've just left it as is.
Okay.
In
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have seen it, and on YouTube on the channel that it's on, and if you want, we can put a link to it down below in the description. That way, people can check it out.
if you can do, yeah,
Okay,
that's
very good. Folks, go ahead and check out Phil Wood's Facebook page. It's absolutely excellent and it's very interesting, and that will be a good supplement to what we just discussed. So you can learn a little bit more about who Phil Woods is. And now we're going to get to the WhoTube show. What is that?
well. I mean, it's what it sounds like, really. I mean, what else would you call a Doctor Who?
It's the perfect name.
It, I was just discussing it with my son. I've done YouTube shows before, like podcasts or vodcasts, um, to varying degrees of success, and for one reason or another, they haven't continued. I've done like a Merseyside, which is the region where I grew up, where Liverpool and Everton Football Club are from. If you know soccer, as you call it, but it is football. We play it with our feet. That's the clue.
Yeah. We just call it soccer here. I'm not big into it, but I actually prefer it to American football.
Yeah. Well, it's basically around focusing on other sports. So we did news about the main sports that you'd find. Football, cricket, rugby, things like that. But then every week we had a different guest, who was from a more unusual sport that rollerball, or not rollerball, the one on roller skates, and
Roller derby. Yeah, roller derby.
Baseball, American football, things like that. And there's, believe it or not, a rich, there's a lot of that goes on, especially in Merseyside. So whilst you have those big soccer clubs, world renowned soccer clubs, there is an American football team in Merseyside, in Liverpool. There's a roller derby team. There's a baseball team, and actually, baseball is huge in that region because it came over from America with a lot of the shipbuilding, and then in the First and Second World War as well. It came over here and sort of landed. So we were trying to focus on those sort of sports to make people more aware of them. That didn't last too long, but it was produced by somebody else in Liverpool, and I did a Formula One show, actually with somebody from America each week, but I got quite a few views on that one. But to be honest, I think there was health reasons why that couldn't continue. I'd rather not go into that, but there was health reasons that couldn't carry on. And then YouTube show, because I love Doctor Who, I thought, well, let's create a show. I mean, there are plenty on YouTube, loads of Doctor Who shows, but most of them are they basically they're analysing episodes at great length, most of them. But there weren't many that focused on the real thing, the thing that really matters about it, and that's the fans.
Right.
So I thought, because without the fans, you haven't got a TV show. It's as that. If nobody watches it, then it gets pulled. And that's the thing about acting as well. It relates to that. If you're acting in a show that no one's watching, then it's never going to get made. You're never going to get more than a few episodes or a pilot, or it might be off after season one. But Doctor Who has been around for so long, and that's, the fans are the people that matter. And I thought, well, let's speak to them and learn why they like Doctor Who. What is it that makes it so popular? And that's been the aim. And the YouTube show has grown tremendously fast. I'll tell you about that in a short while. There's no secret recipe. It's I will, if you want me to, I will tell you how it's been or how it's grown.
Oh, I'm definitely going to ask.
It,
That's
well,
that's kind of that's the elephant on the living room sofa today, and not me. We would like to know how it got so large so quick.
it's about advertising on social media, and about, because I come from a marketing background. That's where I told you about the sales before. I hate sales, but I'm very good at it. So I have done it for a while, but I will, if I never ever have a sales job to do again, that will be too soon. But I just use marketing techniques and knowing how to use Facebook and Twitter or X, Instagram. I've got a TikTok one, but I haven't used that yet, utilized it. But using social media, and then Google and YouTube as well. But using social media as a whole to advertise, and you do have to pay money to do that. You can't. I mean, there are ways of doing it for free, but not to the. If you want fast growth on anything, you have to be imaginative, and you have to use social media as your tool, because that's how I found everybody. That's how I found everybody that wants to watch the show. And there's organic growth in there, of course, also. But like I say, there is no silver bullet. It's all about knowing what you're doing with the marketing. If you can market something well, then people will buy into it. It's a known fact with absolutely everything in life. If it's advertised well, then you wonder what it's about and you buy it.
Okay.
That's the way it goes.
Okay, now I've never seen a channel grow to over 10,000 subscribers this fast, and I've have followed some people that have started some independent comic creation channels, a couple of other brand new Doctor Who channels, and I've never seen anything grow this fast. Now you mentioned advertising and not free. Have you actually used paid advertising, such as on Facebook or Twitter?
I have, yes.
Okay, would you say one is better than the other?
I find Facebook's better than anything else, to be honest.
Okay.
More people use Instagram than Facebook these days, but Facebook is so well. They're so Facebook itself are so clever and so good at the way they place adverts that I think that if you spend just £30, 20, £30 or dollars on Facebook advertising, you're going to get more out of that than you would out of Twitter or Instagram. If
Okay.
you, that's my view. My
Okay.
experience.
Okay. Can you tell us all of your Facebook hashtags? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just, just kidding there.
To be honest, they're the ones you'd expect.
Okay.
What
All right.
and then this is the one thing that I would tell everybody to do. And so when you're doing keywords with anything, imagine yourself typing it with a spelling mistake. So think about what might be the most common spelling mistakes. And one of the most common things when people type in fast, they'll not misspell a word with an obvious thing. They won't stick an A where there's supposed to be an O or things like that. What they'll do is they'll hit the next button on a keyboard. So where you might type an E or where you want an E, you might just try an R.
Okay.
And that's
So
a
you fill in the gaps to spread out above and beyond people that have typed their search term absolutely correct.
absolutely
Okay.
because not
That's
yeah, that's
yeah.
we all make spelling mistakes and we all do that when we're typing things. We have to go back over it to edit our own work. Otherwise, it'd be a mess, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah, we've all done that. In fact, I've caught myself typing in something for a search and realizing I misspelled it and just go ahead and click enter anyway, figure it out. Google will figure it out. So, and it may get actually get different results. So, all right, Phil, that's very interesting. Thank you. That's something that not only I have been wondering. I have a channel about 2 years old. I've interviewed about 100 people, primarily in Doctor Who, from actors to writers and musicians and people involved in stage plays and music producers and what have you. And you have far surpassed my channel so fast. I've thought, wow, how in the world is this happening? So, is it reasonable to say that you're happy with the growth?
Um, I'm more than happy to be honest. I'm there's quite often my son's away on holiday with his mum at the moment, and there have been numerous messages between ourselves, not about whether he's enjoying his holiday or how's my daughter's hamster, who I'm looking after. It, this, it, it's more been the word wow and and a screenshot from the analytics. It's been like, what's going on? Because it's beyond our expectations as well. It's not, we like I say, there are those little tricks that you can play with marketing and advertising, but something's happened. And if you look at I was already saying the word wow when we were getting 1,000 viewers,
Yeah.
but wow and have 13,000, which is true of yours, the episode that you and my son were both in.
That had nothing to do with me. I'm sure that people were watching that because it was the first time that your son was revealed as the editor.
They didn't know though. People didn't really know that that was going to happen. They would have had to read the description and if you're being honest with yourself, how many descriptions do you read in detail on YouTube?
Well, I don't unless it piques my curiosity and if I want to know what the music being used is or if I'm looking for a link.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the people didn't know that Callum was going to be revealed on there, and he's on for 15 minutes at the end or so. But I think that there's been a culmination of many factors during the first 9 episodes and the bits that have been done in between, like who is Sutek and things
Hmm.
like that. I did, and all that, you know, come to a head, and it has meant that the finale of this season. I mean, don't forget, in television, finales get more views than other episodes by their very nature. But a finale of a YouTube show doesn't have the same gravitas. But I think things have been edging towards this, and then finally, there's at the end has been this huge, because we've had over well over 1,000, maybe 1,500 subscribers from just this one episode alone,
Hmm. Okay.
which is
Yeah,
great.
it's unbelievable. Uh, and I really appreciate you asking me to be on your show. You made me feel special because when somebody asks you if they can interview you, you know, it's a good feeling. And I think that you've hit a niche. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching your other episodes um, because there's something just satisfying about seeing other fans talking about what they love about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I think that you've hit a niche. Now your first season has ended, and from what I understand, you're going to have a couple of specials, and then you're going to be back later this year with season two.
Yeah. Well, the plan is um, 2 episodes, which are going to be specials, and then a third special, which is going to be Christmas, and then in January we're going to come back with season two. That's the plan. As
Okay.
it, I have learned in life to always say that that's the plan, because you just never know what to expect. But I would like to think that that's what will happen.
Okay, very good. Now, um, y any editing that is done by Callum, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Does he enjoy doing that? It seems like he does.
Yeah, he does. Um, he's a tech wizard. You know,
Yeah.
he's good at everything in tech wise, and you know, and I fully expect. I mean, he might say no, no. He enjoys cooking, by the way, and he's good at it. But you know, I don't think that that'll be the field he goes into. He might think that he might want to open a restaurant or whatever. But to be honest, he's got such a talent when it comes to computers and technology that he's never edited anything before apart from his own little things at home. So he's just everything he's learned is been through the YouTube show.
And
So
self-taught.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Okay. Well, it was great to see Callum at the end of the finale. That was a really nice touch. So, folks, go and check out the YouTube show that I'm sorry, I knew I was going to do that. Go and check out the WhoTube show on YouTube. There's going to be a link right here below. There's a whole season of interviews where Phil interviews Doctor Who fans, and it is the fastest growing Doctor Who channel that I've ever seen, and at present it may be the fastest one that has ever happened. So go and definitely check it out. The WhoTube show link is going to be down below. All right, Phil, let's shift gears here. Wow, we're already 30 minutes into this, and we haven't even got to the questions for you about Doctor Who. And some of these might seem a little bit familiar because, yep, I did kind of copy your format just a bit. So, if you are ready, um, when did you first watch Doctor Who?
When I was 7,
Okay.
which was about 10 years ago. No, but no,
Me too. Yeah.
when I was seven, yeah, nearly 45 years ago. I yeah, I started watching it, and ever since then, I loved it. It is my favorite show, and it's one of those where I've even got a pair of socks on the bottom of it. It says, "Shush, I'm watching Doctor Who." Are not allowed to communicate with me whilst it's on.
Okay, now being seven, did you ever hide behind the sofa?
I did.
You did.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Do you happen to remember which enemy that was?
But
The cause?
my parents tell me it was the Dalek.
The Daleks. Really? There you go. How classic is that?
Classic, and they are scary because they have. It's not what they look like. It's the fact they have no emotion whatsoever. Apart from and fight an enemy like that. Well, the Doctor can, but he hasn't yet fought them off, has he? Let's be fair. Even the Doctor can't do it.
All right. So, do you have a favorite doctor?
I do. Tom Baker.
Okay.
Uh, I'm not sure if he was the first one I'd seen. I think John Pertwee might be, um, but Tom Baker has always been my favourite.
All
He's,
right. And as far as an enemy, do you have a favorite enemy?
I don't actually, if I'm being honest. I do like to see the Dalek episodes come up, but I think the cleverest, most ingenious enemy that there has ever been is the Weeping Angels. I mean,
Mm.
kill you by not killing you. I mean that it's brilliant, and the fact that you can't blink, that one thing that as humans we, apart from breathe, we must blink. Breathing and blinking are the two things that we naturally do all day, without perhaps thinking about it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the Weeping Angels. That's a very disturbing one. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. As far as New Who, as the enemy that is the most disturbing to me as well. And so that brings the next question: classic or New Who?
Um, I think I don't think I can't say that I prefer one over the other. To be honest, I think the classic Who, the storytelling is just as good as it is in New Who. Um, the production quality of New Who is way and above what classic Who was. I mean, we sets aren't falling down as the Doctor is running from someone. The walls aren't shaking and things like that. Those things that have they've gone from Doctor Who, and that makes it perhaps a bit more cinematically. What's the word? Beautiful. It is. I think then it does. It looks better, and there are things that come from that that may that perhaps New Who edges old Who in watching quality, but storytelling. I think there's from Terry Nation and Russell T Davis and Stephen Moffat, and from all the different storytellers, that's been a pretty thing that's pretty constant throughout from 1963 to now. I don't, there've been peaks and troughs like there are in everything, but I think the storytelling overall has always been good. So I can't choose between
Yeah.
classic and story.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And here's a question to you as an actor. If you are comparing classic Doctor Who and New Who, would you say that classic Doctor Who has more of a feel of a stage play than New Who?
Um, no, I've never thought of it like that. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's something I'd have to sit down and think about and chew overnight or something. Um, I I don't think so. Um,
Okay.
in my no.
Okay.
Uh,
Very okay. Now, as far as not just Doctor Who, but any television program or film, how important do you feel that music is?
Massively important, and that's why we're so blessed to have the modern Beethoven as our composer. Um, Murray Gold is a genius in writing and producing music. He is an absolute genius, and you can listen to the Doctor Who. You pick up like the season three of the new Who era. You can pick up the CD or the or whatever and listen to it, and it's beautiful music on its own. And we're very lucky. Incidental music is often overlooked. People don't realize that that gives you um, it gives it gives the whole theme to the show. It it gives so much to the viewing of a show, and that's why when you go to if you went to watch like the 50th anniversary or recently the finale to the last season with Shooting Hour, if you'd been to the cinema to watch that, then it's a different feel to watching it at home. It's a massively different film, and a lot of that's to do with the sound. Um, yeah, the pictures are bigger, but I don't think the picture being bigger does anything for the show. I think it's the sound. It really just grabs you, and we are lucky to have such a great composer at the helm. Really, I'm back at the helm now.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. I completely agree with you. Um, you are let's step away from Doctor Who for just a second here, since we're on to music. This made me wonder something. You seem to be a music fan. Are you a concert goer?
Yes, I do like
Hmm.
going when I can. Um, a lot of it. I do have some disabilities and to not suffer. That's wrong word. To contend with, um, and there are limitations now. But if I can get to one, I do. I would love. I do love a concert.
Okay. I've, I've been watching little clips online of the proms
Okay.
that just happened, and that looked like an absolutely beautiful event in sound. Wouldn't that be something to go to?
Yes, it would. I went to
Yeah.
watch the Doctor Who the uh, Murray Gold's Doctor Who. I can't remember when it was now, but it was I don't know uh, pretty early on actually in the new Who era, and I went to Birmingham to watch um, the music of Doctor Who.
Oh,
And it was
nice.
phenomenal.
Awesome. Okay. Now going back from when you started watching at age 7, um, let's turn up the clock to 1989 and Doctor Who ended. How did you feel about that?
Very sad, very very sad. But there is an opportunity then to open yourself to other types of media, um, like you've got the Big Finish audios, you've got um, comic books, all kinds of things. Um, so you do open yourself up to that, but I, I don't think there's anything quite like television, and therefore, even though there is so much other Who stuff out there, I don't. I think it was still a very sad period between '89 and then 2005, bar the TV movie in between, which
Right.
I, by the way,
What's that?
I quite like the movie, by the way, even though a lot of people don't.
Yeah, oh yeah, I liked it too. I actually had the opportunity of interviewing Matthew Jacobs that wrote that film, and his producer Vanessa Yule, very nice lady. And it was just announced that Matthew Jacobs is going to be writing another Doctor Who story for Big Finish for a Paul McGann story.
Okay,
So
cool.
so that'll be something that we need to check out. Now, so from 1989 and then up until the 96 movie, which I believe was filmed in 95, a lot of it in Vancouver, British Columbia. Um, and then up until 2005, the wilderness years. I believe that's what the British fans called that, the wilderness years. Some of the fans here called it the famine years, but I think that that was coined as that after that period. So, did you lose interest in Doctor Who during the wilderness years from 1989 to 2005?
Um, yeah, I think so. Probably.
Yeah.
If be told, yes, I did. Um, although I never ever stopped the yearning for it to come back.
Okay.
You know that there was still that part of me that thought, I hope one day they renew it, especially with what can be done on television these days. And you know, there were times when I thought about it. I suppose it was like, I mean, you've got to get on with life, haven't you? I mean, it's a TV show at the end of the day. There are far more things going on the outside than Doctor Who. You know, you get on with life, don't you? So it's but having Doctor Who in your life is better than not having it in your life. So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, I did. I you know, I found other things.
Okay. Did you supplement your love for Doctor Who with anything like fanzines or watching uh VHS tapes?
Yeah, well, I did watch. I did have a bit of a collection, so I'd watch um, over some of the old ones that I had. Um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it anywhere nearly as regular as I would now.
Okay. Okay. Now turning up to the 1996 film, written by Matthew Jacobs, starring Paul McGann. Um, do you remember when it was announced that there was going to be a film made and that it was an American produced film? And were you excited? And how did you feel about that?
I don't recall the moment I found out about it, to be honest, and
Okay.
but I do recall being excited about it. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
Most of the shows I watched growing up were American shows. Um, Things like The Fall Guy and $6 Million Man and The A Team and things
Hmm.
like that. So, you know, the fact of it being produced in America or Canada, you know, when I heard it was going to be a film that there wasn't going to be BBC, yeah, I didn't think it would have any. I didn't think it'd last. I didn't think it'd
Hmm.
produce it because I didn't think that I don't know. I always felt that it should be a BBC show. That,
Okay. Yeah, you know what? And as an American, I agree with you. I believe that the only pure Doctor Who can only be made by the BBC. Would you agree with that?
yeah, with I mean, but like the BBC were involved in the movie, so uh,
Right.
you know that. I mean, the movie was really good. It had its faults and it had its great moments. And Paul McGann was a great moment. You know,
Hmm.
it's sad that we didn't get to see a full, 3 years or what have you of him on television. But you just have to use your imagination, don't you? Switch off, listen to Big Finish, and you've got your TV in your mind.
Right. Right. Yeah, some of those Paul McGann episodes from Big Finish are absolutely excellent. Some of my favorites. Do you listen to Big Finish a lot?
I not a lot now, but I do listen to it. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm not a big, I think it's really good, um, uh, but I don't listen to them often.
Okay. Okay. Now, turning up to New Who. We're getting to the end here. We're definitely over the hump. We're halfway there. Thank you for hanging in there. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sound.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Okay.
me.
All right, cool. All right. With Rose, um, do you happen to remember when it was announced that Doctor Who was coming back?
Yeah, I don't recall the actual date, but I
Right.
do recall the moment I found out, and it was a jump up in the air moment. It was so exciting. I couldn't wait. Uh,
Okay. Now,
yeah,
as far as when the episode aired, um, some of us watched it a little bit early. There was an employee at CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company in Canada, that did something wrong, and they put the episode on a file sharing network on the internet. So it was out just a couple of days before it was actually broadcast on television. Were you watching Rose live when it came on television?
yeah, yeah. I was. I was.
Okay. So what were your reactions to it when it broadcast?
Um, no, I just had a huge smile on my face afterwards, and thought, "Oh, it's back! It's back!" And it's so magnificent. The casting, again, shame we didn't see more Christopher Eccleston. The casting was great. It was, and the writing was brilliant. Everything about it was fantastic. And the future looked rosy. She's fun.
There you go. And the music was excellent as well.
But yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so all right. Now just on a broader range, do you happen to have a favorite episode ever?
Um, I think probably Blink.
Blink. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I think that maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And then I think Blink probably. Yeah,
Okay. What about a favorite TARDIS?
I like the new one. I like the way it's got that look of the old TARDIS interior, but it's new, and bigger. It's the grand scale of it. It's like the original TARDIS, but on a grander scale.
Okay.
Love it.
Um, yeah, there's a couple of things. That's my favorite one as well. At present, there's a couple of things that don't quite make sense. You know, we have the wheelchair ramp now, which is great for being inclusive. But yeah, that kind of made me wonder, well, if there wasn't a ramp before, how did K9 get in and out? And then of
Yeah,
course the ramps are pretty steep. So if someone was using a wheelchair in the TARDIS, those ramps are pretty steep. So I don't know how that would work, but uh so do you like the all white, or do you like when it changes colors? Apparently it can change colors to anything.
yeah. I like it. It's I've got a bit of OCD, so I like that cleanliness light. I think. Um, but in and out of that TARDIS, he'll soon muddy it up when he with his boots. So
Right. Yeah, I found being kind of worried that it's going to get dirty.
yeah,
Okay, so Missy or the Master?
the master, I think, only because um, I particularly like Anthony Ainley and Johnson. I just think they work. They both masters work so well, and Derek Jacobi as well. Wish he'd been the master for longer.
Okay. Now, do you have any favorite reoccurring guests that have appeared on the show?
Wilf, same as
Wilf.
Callum. Yeah,
Okay. There you go. All right. Bernard Cribbins.
absolutely.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Now, how do you feel about the current era? We talked about that the other day, and I'm wondering, is Doctor Who going the correct direction? Are you happy with it?
Doctor Who has to move with the times. It always has done. um,
Mhm.
and always will do. But yeah, I mean, I, I think it's fine. Um, Apart from Space Babies, I thought it was a bit weak, but there's, there's always a weak episode
Yeah,
now and again,
that's
you know.
true. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like it.
Okay. Now, couple last questions here. Thank
Yeah.
you for surviving, and thank you so much for being willing to do this. Um, as far as fandom, you've mentioned some socials you use. You use Facebook, Twitter/X, uh, and Instagram a little bit. TikTok, not yet. Um, do you have a favorite social media to hang out with other fans?
I don't really hang out with other fans, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It's not something I've ever done. So uh, no is the answer to that one, I'm
No.
afraid.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Well, if somebody wanted to contact you, which social media would you prefer? Facebook?
Twitter,
Fa- Okay.
Twitter.
Twitter. Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, very good. I believe that's how we met through Twitter DM. Now, when I think of being a Doctor Who fan in England or the UK, um, I always imagine this magical place where there's a Doctor Who convention every single weekend. And it seems like there's an awful lot of them. It seems like the British people really have fun when it comes to Doctor Who. Have you gone to any conventions?
No, never been to one in my life. Um,
Really?
really. I do intend to change that, but don't tell Callum, because but he doesn't know yet because we
Okay.
we had planned to go to a local Doctor Who meetup thing, an event, and unfortunately we couldn't go. So it was disappointing for him. Um, so just in case something happens with this in a few weeks, I don't. Well, I haven't told him yet, but there is something. There's an event in a few weeks that I'm planning to take him to.
Okay.
Uh,
Awesome. All right. Hopefully he doesn't see this before then. Would that be a spoiler?
yeah, it would be a spoiler, so I won't before then.
Okay. All right. So, I only got two more questions here. What would you tell someone who has not seen the WhoTube show? What would they expect to go and watch on your new channel?
Um, it's you know how you just asked me about going to interact and meet other Doctor Who fans.
Hmm.
It's a chance to do that. Really, it's these everybody I speak to on the YouTube show. They are, I mean, a massively important cog in Doctor Who itself. So I would say that is what it's about. It's about meeting other Doctor Who fans. Maybe not in person, but you get to learn perhaps about what makes others tick when it
Hmm.
comes to. I think that's what it is really. And it's a celebration of the fan as being as important as the stars themselves. So interviewing yourself and other people is just as interesting to me and important to me as it would be if I was interviewing David Tennant. You guys are just as important because David Tennant wouldn't have had a job in Doctor Who if it wasn't for all the fans.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Can you imagine interviewing David Tennant? I don't even know that. Uh, is that something you would do if he said yeah?
Yeah, because he's a fan of the show, isn't he? So
Yeah.
um, I'm not somebody that's going to be, or the YouTube show will not be focusing on um, the actors from Doctor Who. But what it will do is it may interview actors who are fans. So as
Okay.
long as they're a fan, um,
Okay.
then yes, they would could be on the YouTube show.
Okay. Okay, absolutely wonderful. Phil, thank you. And I have a final question for you, sir. What does Doctor Who mean to you?
Yeah, Doctor Who means to me, that's the question, isn't it? That's the crux. That's
There,
what Doctor
that's
Who,
your question. That the tables are turned.
what the whole show is about. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, to me, it's about escapism. It's 45 minutes when it's on. It's 45 minutes each week where I can switch off and I can step into the TARDIS and go on an adventure with the Doctor. And whatever's happened in the week, whatever whatever bills have come through the door that I can't quite afford, or whatever, when I've gone shopping and I haven't been able to get all the food I want, and all those sort of things are out the window. It's just me. I'm going on an adventure to another world or another time, and that's what I get excited about, and that's what really that's what Doctor Who means to me. It's escapism. It's about mental health.
Okay. Absolutely excellent. Phil, thank you so much for being willing to do this. When I asked if I could interview you and you said yeah, I was like, yes. So and we have done it.
Yeah,
So yeah.
no different to any of you guys that have been on my show.
Yeah.
Um, it's all, it's all, yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Been good.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've had a great time and very nice to meet you. So everyone, go if you haven't seen it yet, you probably have because his channel's a lot bigger than this one now. Go and check out the WhoTube show, and the link is right here below, right at the very top. It's the first thing you're going to see. Just click on more, click on the WhoTube show, and go check out all of the wonderful, fun interviews. I love this new channel, and I think that you might too. So. Phil, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
have a nice evening. And cheers from California.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.